Midgets, dwarves, little people, whatever. They go by many names. Have you ever just wanted to ask one all the questions that are on your mind? Well, our special guest, Dylan Hiley, is here with the answers. We will be talking midget wrestling. We will be talking famous St. Louis little people and listening to some kick-ass music. We go deep. All right, what's up, guys? We are live. Welcome to another Underground STL live episode, a show that brings you a street-level view of the greater St. Louis area, taking you deep into the topics that matter the most to St. Louisans. I am your host, Sam Catanzaro, and to my left is the man in the chair, the one with the magic fingers pressing all those keys, the producer of our show, Booster. How are you, Booster?
I'm doing fine. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Is there anybody out there tonight? Is there anybody alive out there?
Yes, okay, sure. All right, all rhetorical. And our special guest tonight is Dylan Hiley, formerly of the band 3.5 Men, the midget who is going to get your girlfriend's digits. And he is also now the newest addition to Micro Wrestling Federation. Cool, awesome, congratulations,
Thank
Dylan.
you so
I'm just gonna rip the bandage off, man.
Rip it off.
I'm gonna rip it off.
Wait, you have it already?
Yeah, I did earlier, but for the fans, for everything like that, what do we call you? A midget, dwarf, little person? Are you Irish? Is it leprechaun? Like
one thing my band taught me in 3.5 Men was love me, hate me, just don't ignore me. And we're in the entertainment business, so I go by any of that. But I have a bone disease, so I have basically it's called OI. So I've broken over 100 bones in my life. Damn. And it's gotten better now since I'm working out every day and trying to get ready for micro wrestling and get in shape. But it wasn't easy when I was a kid. So I have a bone disease where the calcium doesn't absorb into my bones, and I have a bone density issue. So a symptom of that disease is being short-statured.
Gotcha.
So it's a little I go by all that just because I am short, and that's what we're called, and especially micro wrestling. But I am, short stature from my bone disease, but it's different because I have like normal hands and everything. So it's slightly different, but I go by any of it.
Gotcha. So you don't
little
have
guy or whatever.
So you don't have dwarfism.
No.
You have OI.
Yeah.
And that the calcium and everything that causes you from actually growing.
Yeah. So basically, if I drink a gallon of milk and you drink a gallon of milk, I'm going to absorb like 20% of that.
Wow.
Compared to what you would.
Wow.
So I take calcium supplements. I have to work out. There's no cure to it. I wake up with agonizing pain all the time. But the workouts help me maintain some level of comfortability. And for me to do what I do in the band and to get on stage and to run around, just to stand up for 3 hours for me, I have to work out all month like a UFC fighter. I have to get ready all month for one night.
Yeah, you were talking about that. That 100 bones in your body. I mean, I stub my toe when I get up in the morning, and I'm like, But
That's
yeah,
how you do it earlier.
I know you're right. But 100 bones in your body, and that just is the OI, basically. Okay. Yep. Well, guys, if you have any questions for Dylan, we are going to be hanging out with you tonight. Basically, comment down below on Facebook and YouTube if you are watching live, and we are going to be jumping in the comment sections. And Dylan's up; he's pretty much an open book.
Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But first, before we go any further, here is a word from our sponsors.
Hey, we've all been having a bad time over the last year. What we really need is to just relax. Take it easy, Just like the three-toed sloth, tonight's sponsor. The slowest animal in the world. It's the model of what we should all try and become. Chill, comatose, zen. The three-toed sloth sleeps 20 hours a day and is so in tune with its surroundings, sometimes other wildlife crashes in its fur. Hey, no biggie, right? We're all on the same planet. With this partnership between the sloths and underground St. Louis, nothing can stop our positive waves, man. Sloth life.
Man, the sloth ad sounded like whoever did it had just smoked a bunch of ganja.
I've never heard. I've never heard being in a comatose state as a positive thing until I just heard that.
Hey, come on, man. Hey,
man.
if they go too fast, they actually have a heart attack,
Yeah.
which is
oh
crazy.
no, I've
to
heard
me.
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're also
too fast for 'em.
exceptional swimmers. They can actually go much, much faster in the water.
I'll tell you what else is exceptional. Underground St. Louis, which is why if you guys have not already subscribed to us over on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, if you like our show, invite your friends to follow us. You can also catch our show on Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. And you can always check out our website at undergroundstl.com for exclusive content. Because after all,
iHeartRadio?
we go deep. We go deep.
We go deep.
All right, Micro Wrestling Federation. So I am looking at the newest addition to the Micro Wrestling Federation family. Dylan, how did that happen for you?
It was crazy. So I'm sitting there at my day job. I make sales. That's what I do in the daytime. And, in the music industry, even in St. Louis, all the bands, including Divine Sorrow, everybody knows this, that no matter what your band is doing, it's hard to make ends meet in this business without having some sort of day job. So I'm sitting there, and I know I've had a lot of day jobs that were really good jobs, but I was always miserable simply because I'm not doing what I love, which is performing. So I go on my lunch break about a week and a half ago. I wanted to follow up with Micro Wrestling. It's been forever since I've heard from him. I was at the Diamond Show where 3.5 Men was, if they didn't have the stage cut off for fans, we were going to play. It was going to be 3.5 Men playing at Micro Wrestling, which that would have been, marketing-wise, I feel like would have been awesome. So
you got a little person on stage singing, and then you got a little people in the ring wrestling.
It made sense to us, and it made sense the fact that I'm a huge wrestling fan. I have been my whole life. I announced for World League Wrestling for 2 years with Harley Race. That was my first major gig in this entertainment industry. So I did that, and Hall of Famer Harley Race taught me everything I need to know about podcasts and doing that, because I used to do what you guys are doing here for the wrestling, for World League Wrestling.
Yeah, you were doing commentary and stuff like that. I think some of the best commentators alive, JR.
Yep.
Jim Ross, Michael Cole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even though Michael Cole, like his character gets a lot of flack for it. Jerry the King Lawler.
Yep.
Some of the best commentators in sports around are wrestling guys.
True. And that always inspired me because JR was never in great shape to get in the ring. He was never ever going to be thought of like that, but he grinded it out in the business and did that part, to get his foot in the door. And so, out of a whim, I haven't heard from these guys in forever, so I'm like, you know what? What the hell? I'm going to get online and see what happens. On my lunch break, before I went to lunch, I looked on Micro Wrestling's site. They only had one telephone number, and it was the guy that I met, Jack, and I called him up, and he called me back about 20 minutes later after I left him a voicemail, and he was like, I don't quite remember. Send me a couple pictures of, who you are.
Yeah.
Sent him 5 of my best photos of me on stage. And right after that, he calls me. He says, dude, I've never hired anybody that couldn't get in the ring, but I'm telling you, there's something about your look. And he said, I want to bring you on as a performer. He said, wrestling has never had a musician, even a little person musician, and mixing the rock concert and wrestling, because it is a spectacle of Micro Wrestling. That's what they do.
Right.
They're good wrestlers as well, but it's theatrics. They're little people, and they make everybody laugh as well and entertain. So having that rock concert, like Godsmack, having a little person get up there and go, the heavy stuff and getting the crowd into it. So they've never done that before and had that spectacle. So
it's funny you say that because I've always looked at wrestling, not just micro wrestling or midget wrestling, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I've always looked at wrestling as the spectacle is the sizzle, but the athleticism is the steak, and that's the whole thing. And even with midget wrestling too, you see that. Now what's your take on midget wrestling? Because I know like in the wrestling community, there's a big push by Little People of America organization saying that midget wrestling is a derogatory term, and it's also the sport itself is not good for little people across America. Where you have wrestlers, like famous wrestlers like Hornswoggle that defend it, that say, hey, look, this has been around. This is how we got our foot in the door. Yeah. What's your take on that?
Well, my whole take on it is, how else are these guys that are born with this height, how else are they going to get their foot in the door? What other option do they have? They can't go to NXT and get their foot. They're not going to get a chance at all. There's no, this allows them. And it is, and everybody that's a part of this card knows it is funny and theatrics. We're not going to wake up. I'm not going to wake up one morning and be 7 foot tall. So why would I be offended and run away from it? It's going to stay with me my whole life. So might as well use it to lift people up and entertain people. So I see it the way that those wrestlers see it. They don't see it as offensive. They love what they do. Now, it is a carnival act at first, and there's little people, they're running around, and it's theatrics in that regard, and the girls bring their girlfriends, and they come out because of that.
Yeah.
And they're like laugh and joke and all that stuff. But when the wrestling match starts, these guys can actually go. So there's that hint of, I could relate to it because it's in 3.5 Men, when we would start a gig, the first thing is people that don't know me, they're like snickering and laughing, and the minute we start doing our thing, they're
and
like,
you open up your mouth, and you become like 3 feet taller.
Well, I love that element of surprise, that that feel of feeling like we're underestimated, because then that means so much more when we come out kicking ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's I love that element of surprise.
That's awesome.
That's the best part. And I know these guys that wrestle for Micro, I know they do too.
That's awesome. I always feel like it's like that awkward karaoke guy. Like when you go to karaoke nights, and there's always that one awkward guy in the corner that's like, I'm just waiting for my shot. I'm just waiting for my shot. I'm just waiting for my shot. And then all of a sudden he gets up there and he's got pipes.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, okay, cool. Yeah,
you
know what I'm saying? I feel like that's kind of it. They see you and they're like, ha 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 ha, look how tiny he is.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, like, man, he just belted Shinedown. He just belted Audio Slave.
That's the coolest thing. And I talked to you a couple months back about my love for this and how it changed my life, and it almost brings tears to my eyes. Till this day, when I get on stage, I look out that crowd. Even last night at the Diamond at Open Jam, I look out the crowd going crazy, and I'm like, I'm still in shock that I'm up there doing it.
Yeah.
And to go from every day at Target, where I worked at, and my jobs I've had in college and everything else, where you're the only guy that's in a wheelchair and disabled. And women don't give you the time of day to date you. Guys won't. They'll talk to you, but it's kind of you're outcast a little bit. You have to kind of break the ice, so to speak, with jokes and stuff. And you go from that element to being a lead singer of a rock band, and to be the guy that, you know what I mean? I've never had that, so for me to be on stage, I fell in love with it. The first show we did.
It's a drug, and sometimes it's like, kind of like what you were missing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've never been looked at in that
Yeah.
way before.
Yeah.
So it was addicting.
And that's the whole thing. So with wrestling, we were talking about this.
Yeah.
Midget wrestling, it's given an avenue. Never really has there been a group of people, like when they're born.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like with dwarfism, or like with OI, or something like your condition. Never has there been an avenue for a group of people to instantly become famous.
Not at all.
When they get older, to instantly go out there, like, yes, they're gonna, like circuses, midget wrestling, all that kind of stuff. But like, honestly, like that's such a cool avenue that you can explore. And yes, people are looking at you and people are watching you because you're you. But as you said, it's not changing. You're not waking up tomorrow, taller or something like that. So.
I was gonna say, like a lot of people would maybe say, like, saying that the midget, like using the kind of, like, I don't want to say derogatory terms, but like the terms that we refer to little people as. You got to think about it. Like, is that really, like, that's the only avenue that they have sometimes.
Yeah.
So, like, why would you want to stop them from doing that? It's not, like you said, it's not all of a sudden, like, you're going to be called on to be like,
exactly,
hey,
NXT or anything,
Hey, Axl Rose fell, and, like, we need a lead singer for Guns N' Roses. Can you do it?
Exactly.
Like, no.
Yeah.
So, I
This
mean,
is the
I
only
think
avenue.
Exactly. I think it's kind of one of those, like, just holdovers from the ancient times. Like, it's just it's like ingrained in our DNA almost, and I'm not sure what's really going to change it. Like, do you think that there's anything that's going to
exactly what
the perception of, like, little people that, like, in general, like in society?
No, I think with little people, it's always, listen, people react to different things.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, you're different. I mean, there's why hide it? You know what I'm saying? You're different. And when people don't see something all the time, and they're like, oh, that's different. And people of course are going to be like, oh yeah, it's like somebody with, like, 6 fingers on their hand, and they're like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want to see it. Like, they could care less about who the person is. Right. They could care less about who the person is. They just want to see something that's different.
They want to see it different.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think when people are like, start then, like, really putting someone down, you know what I'm saying? Like you could be a complete asshole. You know what I'm saying? But like, and if I come after you for being an asshole, that's a different story. But if all I'm doing is coming at you for being smaller than me, then I'm the asshole. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. I don't think we're ever gonna change, you know, unless there's little people all over, and then it becomes so common. But there's not, and that's what makes it so unique.
There's using people's differences as a way to kind of like ingrain respect in like your community for them.
Yeah.
And there's way to kind of like have fun with it too.
Yep.
And then there's taking advantage of it as a cudgel to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where people cross the line.
And that's what the cool thing about 3.5 Men when we started. We knew it was going to be different. We knew it was going to be looked at like a carnival act. We knew that until we started playing, it wasn't going to be taken seriously. And I already knew, I told you this, I already knew because I wanted to do the entertainment industry for the last 10 years, that I already knew what character I wanted to be and what look I wanted to have and all that stuff.
You're wearing it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But they, you know, my band and Keith and everybody, they knew that I couldn't move a lot. Like, I'm in good shape, but my bone disease limits me from doing what other lead singers do. So we, you know, I sing with my hands a lot, and I know I'm going to be standing in the same spot. So I try to make the best of that spot.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a normal concert. It's a little different because I can't. People with my bone disease don't even stand up. Let alone.
Maybe you could have like fireworks in both hands.
There
like,
you go. Yeah, something like that.
Hey,
very patriotic.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and it's like I feel like a true performer says the show must go
always,
on, no matter what.
I performed last summer in a wheelchair when I broke my leg,
and that's what I was about to bring up. That and like Dave Grohl, there's a lot of similarity. Dave Grohl broke his leg on stage that same night. He finished the concert.
Yep.
And you're on. That's when I first actually saw you perform. I had met you before that, but when I first saw you perform, you had a broken leg.
Yep.
You're up on stage in a wheelchair, still rocking out. And
my family thinks I'm crazy for that too. They think I'm nuts, but the way I see it is like, when I go up there, and I can't thank these people enough, everybody that's listened, that's followed my music career up till now, I give everything I have, physically, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, up there on that stage.
Yeah.
I leave it all out there, and whether I hurt myself or whatever happens, as long as they leave satisfied that they got a good show.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, guys, we are going to be here with Dylan. I mean, like we're gonna be here for a little bit, partying with Dylan, probably until the
little bit, really.
Micro style.
Oh, well, you know what? I didn't even say. Hold on, I didn't even try and make that
little
a pun.
Bit.
I was. Hey, we're probably going to be here until the end of the world. Which brings us to our featured song tonight, and that is End of the World by Sonic Candy. They will be performing July 10th at Diamond Music Hall. Stick around, guys. More Underground St. Louis coming up next with the midget who is going to get your girlfriend's digits. And we're talking famous little people around St. Louis. But without further ado, here is Sonic Candy. That was
End of the World by
Sonic Candy.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, you were about to say something. I was like, is he going to say it? Am I going to
No.
say it? Yeah, guys, Sonic Candy, they will be performing Saturday at Diamond Music Hall with a whole lineup of bands. Divine Sorrow, Misplaced Religion, Rosemary STL. It's going to be a great, great show. You know, we love featuring local music here on the show, and I just counted up. We have featured over 40 bands and artists.
Dang.
Local bands and artists since Underground STL Live has been a thing. Over 40 bands and artists. So, guys, if you're out there, if you know a local band, if you know a local artist, musician, whatever, send your content our way. We will feature it on the show. Also, invite your friends to follow us. Like, subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. We are also on Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to check out our website, undergroundstl.com, for exclusive content. Because
Lower that height requirement for me.
Damn right. I don't think there's a height requirement on our website, but we do go deep. We don't go high, but we go deep.
Don't be like Six Flags.
So as everybody knows, we're here with the midget that's gonna get your girlfriend's digits, Dylan Hiley.
I'm stealing that. By the
Damn
way.
right. Damn right. You better fucking steal it. That's a good fucking line. I just came up with it. I didn't know what the hell I was saying. Okay, so wrestling. You are a huge wrestling fan.
Yes.
What's your favorite? What's some of your favorite local shows besides Micro Wrestling Federation? Local shows around here to go to.
So Dynamo Pro is really good to go to.
Yes.
Not only that one, but World League Wrestling, ran by Leland Race, the son of Harley Race, Hall of Famer. That was my boss.
Okay.
And that was who I announced for 2 years. So I've always loved wrestling. Being, like we talked about with my bone disease, when I was a kid, obviously I can't go in the jungle gym and run around with the other kids. So I was inside on a pallet. I didn't hold my own head up until I was 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I was on the pallet all the time and strapped to the pallet with broken legs or arms usually.
Damn.
And I'm watching, Monday Night Nitro and Monday Night Raw, both of them, and I'm muting the sound and talking just like Tony Schiavone and JR. And that's kind of what started for me, And then I fell in love with music later. I've always loved to sing. It was my getaway.
Yeah.
But singing and the music part, I never thought I could be a lead singer because I look around at Johnny Cruz and all these guys that look the part. They're in shape. They're frontmen. They look
They're
good.
beautiful. They're beautiful. They're pretty boys.
Yeah. Well, and to be able-bodied was the big part.
Okay.
So I dropped 22 pounds between the start of 3.5 Men till the first show 3 months later, and I worked my ass off during that time. I worked out every day, and I still am not in great. I still hurt every show, but I'm good enough to stand and move for 3 hours.
Gotcha. That's awesome, man.
I had to. I know.
So I feel like you're on your way to becoming a famous little person of St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I looked this up. We have a couple, and I think like we said, being a little person, you could use that as a strength. You could be a little person that just works at Target. Or you could be a little person that goes on to bigger and better things,
depending on your drive. That's all it takes.
Exactly. And some people, they don't want to be famous, and that's fine. But other people, they want to climb that ladder and they want to get up here.
Yep.
So a couple you guys a couple of the little people from St. Louis, you guys like Wizard of Oz, right?
I do.
Okay.
Well,
so Wizard of Oz, obviously
it's not like my favorite
it's not. Listen, I see you in your ruby slippers going around, man. So
I saw those, by the way.
The Munchkin Land, that was, I feel, when Munchkin Land was, and they were casting for it, that must have been, especially back then, that must have been huge.
Yeah.
Huge in the community.
They had none of these avenues for little people back then, and you were living a carnival act back then. Like, people, if they complain about the micro wrestling and the offensiveness or whatever, I love it because the fact that back then in that time before, like with Wizard of Oz, if you were a little person, you were disabled and you looked that way, that's a lot harder back then because they didn't have the avenues that they have now for difference.
No,
and
they didn't have the American with Disabilities Act.
Yeah,
so like
difference
tons
wasn't
of
accepted.
amenities that exist today don't exist in that time.
Wow. Differences were like outcasted from everything.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
so one of the famous Munchkins there, and I think he played a couple of roles. He played like the fiddler. He played like the there was a couple of roles that he played in Munchkin Land. But he was Mickey Carroll. And Mickey Carroll is actually he's from St. Louis, or he was living in St. Louis, and his godfather was Al Capone. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Mickey Carroll's godfather was Al Capone. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is. So you got you're imagine growing up and when little people were kind of discriminated against, like anybody different was discriminated against, and somebody tries to discriminate you, and you're like, don't let me tell my godfather. It's Al Capone. You know, like
talking life or death.
Right. But he died here in Crestwood. And apparently, and I don't know if I got all the facts straight, so don't quote me exactly on this, but apparently his family sued his caretaker because he left his caretaker all the money. This is what I've heard. I don't know how true this is. Yeah,
but a good caretaker,
right? But I think his caretaker got it all. I think she won in court.
His caretaker was like the only one who came to see him or whatever.
It might be that too.
Be it, and then he was like, "Well, screw you people. If you're not going to be a part of my life, I'm not going to give you any of my money."
That's not the real family to him.
Yeah, and so like legally, that was like the only avenue for them. Yeah, because it's like they don't want to be cut out of the inheritance.
Exactly.
I mean, he's the guy. I mean, his godfather was Al Capone, for Christ's sake. He must have some kind of
he must have some bootleg liquor down in the basement.
A rainy day fund, perhaps.
Rainy day fund. Yeah.
So with this whole thing, she won, but my mom would always see him come into her restaurant that she used to work at. She used to work at IHOP, and he lived in Crestwood. He lived in Crestwood. She worked at IHOP in Sunset Hills, and he would always come in. And she'd see him, and everybody would be like, hi, and everybody went up to him. I mean, talk about a spectacle. And then when you find out that he was in Wizard of Oz, that he knew Judy Garland. He actually went to school with Judy Garland.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think she ended up getting him the role she was a big factor of getting him in the role of Wizard of Oz. So you're seeing somebody that's just connected to such an iconic, historic film, and iconic and historic people, Al Capone, Judy Garland. I mean, it's crazy. And everybody just fell all over him. Yeah, it was one of those things, like he was just so
indeed.
He was just so loved, and she would always see his caretaker though with him. Yeah, he was older. He was up there in age, obviously, but she'd always see his caretaker with him. So that has no surprise to me. That I feel like if you have somebody with dwarfism or OI or something like that, or even like somebody that is handicapped, or mentally challenged or anything like that. You get two types of people. You get people that love and embrace them and will do whatever they can for them, and you get some people that are just like, leave me the fuck alone. Yeah, and pushing people away. Yeah. Have you felt that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I have to get too personal, but especially before the band stuff with women and dating, a lot of them don't give you the time of day because you're not 6'5" and looking like the other guys that they're with. Yeah. So you're seen as less of a man just because of your stature until they know you. So the music allows me as an escape immediately. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to try to defend myself on why I'm my height or try to, fight my way out of a corner or nothing like that. We're more accepted because of the music side, because you could do something that kind of elevates the mood of other people around you. Yeah. So that kind of was my escape as far as getting people to break the ice, so to speak.
All of a sudden you become this force. Not just a presence, but an actual force that you have this. There's a reason why people love rock stars.
Well, I didn't have that confidence. I mean, you can ask my band 3.5 Men before. Music gave me the confidence. Being on that stage with my bandmates, that gave me the confidence. Like it literally saved my life. The way I wake up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror now, it changed everything.
That's awesome.
It did.
That's awesome
for sure.
I'll tell you one guy whose life was changed by somebody that just gave him a big break, that knew he was going to be like this novelty act and everything like that. This article that I wrote, it's quoted, and this is a quote of Bill Veeck, and he used to be the owner of the St. Louis Browns, and he described this midget, little person, dwarf, whatever you want to call him, Eddie Gadel, as, quote, the best darn midget who ever played big league ball.
I didn't know about this till you told me the other day.
I was telling you this the other day.
Eddie Gadel?
Eddie Gadel.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Or Goodell. Eddie Goodell. Gadel.
Eddie Goodell. Gadel.
Goodell.
Right.
Yeah. Eddie Goodell.
They both sound cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going with like Gayetel. Like, I don't know.
I like Gadel better.
So Gadel, Goodell, whatever you want to call him. But this got flagged on a group on Facebook that I shared it to, a baseball group. They said it was hate speech because the title of it, I just named the quote, the best darn midget who ever played big league ball. This wasn't me saying it.
Yeah.
This was an actual owner of a team that hired him to play.
They're like, how dare you?
And they were like, how dare you use the word midget? And I'm like, no, it's actually a really inspiring story.
Yeah.
So Eddie Goodell or Gadel or whatever, he was 3 feet 7 inches tall and 65 pounds. And
about my height and weight.
About your height and weight. Okay.
Exactly.
So this dude, he worked as in World War II, he worked as a riveter because he was able to crawl inside the wings of airplanes. This is before he played for St. Louis Browns. Yep. And Goodell also did promotional spots for circuses, rodeos, and record labels. Mm-hmm. And back then, I mean, those were the avenues that you could do. You would either do tiny work, in tiny spots that only you could get in, and they couldn't hire children. Back then.
You also have to think about it kind of, it's not like those people could honestly go and get like a warehouse job or something like that. Completely inaccessible to it, entire facet of human society.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I mean, and then he did promotional spots, for circuses and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that was what you got. But then in July of 1951, Bill Veeck had purchased the St. Louis Browns, and at the time, the Browns aren't here anymore, obviously. Yeah. But at the time, in the season in 1951, the Browns were averaging less than 4,000 fans per game, while the St. Louis Cardinals were averaging around 12,000. So St. Louis Browns were just they were like, we need to do something to kind of get people involved, and that's when they picked Eddie Gadel or whatever you want to call him, and they called him up. They got him signed like 2 days before the game, and it was going to be the 50th anniversary of Falstaff Beer. Okay. I believe, and a couple other things.
That used to be a larger brand.
Did it? Yeah, and I think it was the that was Lemp's brand. Mm-hmm. That became that was what the Lemps were known for. But yeah, it was going to be the 50th anniversary of Falstaff Beer, and it was going to be the 50th anniversary of the American League. Yeah. So St. Louis Browns were playing Detroit Tigers, and they had signed Goodell right before that, like a couple days before.
Didn't tell anybody.
Didn't say anything. It was supposed to be like a secret.
Just like
they probably did with the backlash.
Like, what the fuck?
Imagine in 1951. They have acrobats, they have dancers, they have a band that had Satchel Paige in it, another famous baseball player, and they wheeled out this big giant cake, and out of the cake pops this midget, Eddie Goodell, and he's in a St. Louis Browns uniform, and on the back of the uniform it had the number 1/8.
Oh, God.
Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, and everybody in the crowd's like, what the hell is this?
Should have been 1/2.
And they're thinking it's just like, they're thinking it's just another novelty, but then he grabbed a bat and he started walking up to pinch hit for another hitter. And all the umpires were like, whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell is going on? And all these umpires are thinking that it's a joke.
Yeah.
But he's like, no. And,
he's for real.
And Frank Saucier, or Saucier, whatever you want to call him. Frank Saucier, he was a guy that he was pitch hitting for. And Frank was a good player. And so they're like, what are you doing? And so he's pitching for him. And the crazy thing was Bill Veeck said to Eddie Goodell, he taught him this stance, and he said to him, your strike zone, get this, your strike zone is only, they did the math on this, and this was his theory.
Wow.
Your strike zone is only 3.8 centimeters high. So they only have 3.8 centimeters to throw a strike.
At the very least, you're going to work the pitcher.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of 4-pitch walks.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, oh man. So he stepped up to the plate and he kind of did like a Joe DiMaggio classic style stance.
He's going to hit a big ass home run or something.
Exactly. And
called his shot, just pointed to the fucking stands.
It's like the little Baby Ruth. That's the original Baby Ruth.
There you go.
But Bob Kane was the pitcher for the Detroit Tigers, and Bob Kane looks at him like, this has got to be. He goes, this got to be a joke. There's no way I'm pitching. And he kind of laughed and pointed.
Like, where do I got to put the ball?
Exactly. He kind of pointed and laughed at Goodell, and he was like, yeah, man, what the hell am I doing here? Yeah. So his catcher came up to him and said, keep it low. Obviously,
everything's got to be down the middle.
Right.
I mean, that's the only.
And so he threw 2 pitches, and Bob Kane was a good pitcher. He threw 2 pitches. The first 2 that he threw were fastballs right down the middle, still called a ball. Wow. They were attempts at strikes. And I think that he knew he wasn't going to get him out. So instead of just burning his arm out, he was like, okay, you know what? And he kind of threw like two
underhand,
underhand, like all that kind of stuff. And Goodell, the fear was how Goodell was up there and so confident with the bat. The fear was that Goodell was going to swing because it was actually inspired by a book that Bill Veeck got this idea to bring in a midget to bat because it was inspired by a book.
What, Gunga Din?
Yeah, and that's what happened in a book. A midget plays for a baseball team and has no strike zone.
The spectacle for the fans to
file
in the attendance to get the attendance up.
Exactly. So he ended up getting walked because all four were balls.
Yeah.
And he stopped and he bowed to the crowd and then they bring in a pinch runner for him.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even run the bases. All he was just hey, let's just get a man on base.
I know how long it takes these little legs to get a stride, so I think I would definitely have a pitch runner for me too.
I mean, I'd have him right in front of the best hitter. I'd have him right in front of Stan the Man.
Yeah, get on
Guaranteed
base.
Runner on base for Stan the Man.
Exactly every time. So the umpires they had asked, hey, let's see a let's actually see like proof that he's playing. So they had his contract on hand.
Yeah.
They showed it and this and that. But like a day or two after the game.
Yeah.
And St. Louis Browns lost, but a
Naturally.
day or two after the game, they fucking they voided his contract in the American League.
What?
The American League office said, nope, his contract is null and void now.
Wow.
Yeah, basically it never happened.
But he was
and
the
this and
first.
that.
He's in
Fucking
the history book,
killjoys.
He was the first and I think the only one to actually be signed by an MLB team in the American League or the National League. Yeah, the first little person to be signed. But
Kevin Hart could probably do that now.
Who?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart could do that.
Kevin Hart's short,
Kevin
everybody.
Hart.
Haha, anyway.
You don't know short. I'm a huge baseball fan and sports fan myself. It's funny because
you didn't know that?
people think that like us being the height, that we're not athletic. Like I don't know, didn't see him play, but I used to be in a wheelchair and I used to throw 70 miles an hour sitting in a wheelchair.
Oh wow!
I used to pitch for an adult league, and then
Wow.
I hurt my arm, but I was pitching for a baseball team for a minute, and I love playing baseball and sports.
My
I was gonna
cousin
say, Wainwright throws a 71-mile-per-hour pitch, and
Yeah.
he's a freaking legend. So I mean, you could.
Well,
you could've
without
done-
your feet, to set your feet gets you most of the fastball and to get up in the range. And I'm throwing 70 sitting down, so I'm literally taking my body and throwing my body.
Could you
weight.
imagine if you actually
Had
the legs to do it?
I
Like
think
even
about
if
it
your
all the
legs
time.
were like a little bit longer, like what kind of power you'd be generating?
That's the only downfall, the only regret. Like people, the $1 million question I get asked more than anything else, more than the height, the disease, all of it. So if you could change it, would you? And I always say no, because it's opened up a lot of doors, and I get an opportunity that some people don't get. But the big downfall is in sports. I wish I could have been able-bodied to do different kinds of sports because I would have definitely been in the ring as a wrestler. That's the only thing about this micro wrestling is he's hiring me as an on-hand cast. I'm a cast member and I'm a singer on the show, but I wish I could get in the ring and tangle up. I wish I could. So.
Well, this Eddie Goodell, they were talking about him that he was very athletic.
Yeah.
And that's why Bill Veeck chose him. He actually called an office, like a booker office, and said, hey, I want, and his specific words were, I want an athletic midget.
Yep.
That's what he said. He knew that he was going to do this.
Oh, yeah.
And they sent him over. But afterwards, Goodell never played officially on the roster afterwards, but then he was also doing promotions for Bill Veeck for I think the Chicago White Sox and other baseball teams and stuff like that. But yeah, unfortunately, when he was like 36, he was coming home from a bowling alley. He lived in Chicago. And when he was coming home from a bowling alley and he was beaten when he was coming home from a bowling alley, some guys jumped him, beat the crap out of him, and he walked into his house. He lived with his mother at the time. He walked in and passed out, like went to sleep, and she woke up and he was dead the next day, and he had all these bruises and stuff on his body. They actually said that he suffered
probably
a heart
from,
attack.
Internal bleeding, or
they said that he suffered a heart
trauma.
attack. Yeah, he was probably like so traumatized by the experience and all that kind of stuff that his heart gave out on him.
Might have had something to do with Al Capone.
It could. Well, that was Mickey Carroll.
Oh, right.
But yeah. But Al Capone's in Chicago,
Hey, you never know.
yeah. I wonder actually though, because Eddie Goodell played for the St. Louis Browns, Mickey Carroll, St. Louis. I wonder if they ever met. Honestly,
They might have.
They might have because that community.
Little people hang together.
And again, I'm not trying to make a joke here, but that community has to be so small. I'm not trying to make a joke, but it's like a small knit community, a tight knit community.
And that's one of the coolest things about if nothing else comes from this micro thing, if nothing else happens, like my dreams and all that stuff, at the very least, I'm signed by Micro and I get to go on the road on a U.S. tour for about 13 days with all the wrestlers, and it's guys that I'm hanging out with in the hotel room with that are my height. Now, I've never actually said this out loud, but I don't know anybody close to me that, all the girls I've dated are 6 foot tall. All the guys I've been friends with are 5 foot taller. I've never had anybody my height around me. So it's going to be kind of cool to talk to somebody that gets everything I'm going through and
like
stuff.
when you're ordering like clothes or something like online, like be like, I know.
Yeah, right? be like I called Build-A-Bear 5 times. Their voicemail just kind of said, "Screw off, you little guy."
Dude, why do you think they're only open till 5:30? This is bullshit.
Exactly. They know us little people go to bed early. So.
That's hilarious.
Before the sun sets.
We got kids bedtime still.
Guys, we're gonna do our next featured song tonight, and that is "Across the River" by Rosemary STL. This is Dylan knows them.
Great band.
They're young, but you got a lot of good things to say about them.
Oh yeah, I mean, not my biggest regret. I told you this is the fact that I didn't get in this sooner, and obviously for the physical reason. But Rosemary, I got to see them live. These kids, they're young, they're hungry, they're driven. And they got really good material. You're about to hear it.
Damn right. Guys, stick around. More Underground STL live coming up next. But for right now, here is Rosemary STL.
So sentimental.
All right. That was Rosemary STL. You can catch them Saturday at Diamond Music Hall, along with Divine Sorrow, along with Sonic Candy, along with Misplaced Religion. That's actually going to play us out. Remember that, Booster. We're gonna have some. We're gonna have more bands coming up. But yeah. So Dylan, just tell everybody right now, where can we follow you at? Where can we catch you? Micro, all that kind of stuff.
My Facebook page, obviously Dylan Hiley, but also microwrestlingtv.com. Also follow my Facebook page, my personal page, because me and my guitar player and my bass player and my drummer, I have a new band. Josh Jenner, you have Greg, and on the drums, we have John on the bass, and we're going to be coming at you with some heavy alternative rock. Nice. Now, it's kind of been busy schedule for me because I'm doing my workout routine, doing the band stuff, and doing the micro wrestling, so it's kind of a lot, but we plan on being out there by the fall time, hopefully, if we can get everything rolling. And I promise you, if you come see this new band, it's going to be unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Better than 3.5 Men.
I don't want to say that.
You don't want to jinx it?
But I can tell you that the music we're doing now, I told you about this.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of what we did in 3.5 Men. We did a lot of pop stuff to cater to certain crowds and did a lot of this. This is going to be a lot of the heavier alternative rock that I did in 3.5 Men, but consistently. Korn, Linkin Park. You're going to get, Hell Yeah. You're going to get Breaking Benjamin.
Nice.
You're going to get stuff that a lot of bands don't play. So it's going to be something new. And I say this all the time, and I'll say this now. With 3.5 Men and with this new band, I'm so blessed to be around such good talent that makes me put on my A game every single time I go to practice. I can't shortcome these songs or, not practice my ass off because these guys are going to bring out the best of me when I go to practice.
I really did think you were going to say come up short.
No, yeah. Well, he already said it twice, so right. I figured. But
or not make the cut.
All my faux pas are just coming out right now.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Where's Goodell?
Where's Gadel?
Where's Gadel at?
Gadel.
So Micro Wrestling Federation, they will be airing on TV.
Yes. So
okay.
my first, I go from July 14th to the 26th. I'm going to be from Newton, Illinois at the beginning of that tour, all the way to Indiana, to New Jersey, to Delaware.
Gotcha.
And like I told you, like my body has been in more pain than it ever has been because I've been working out hard.
Nice.
I'm down 3.
Swole.
No pun intended, but I'm down 3.5 pounds.
Okay.
So,
there you go.
See what I did there? But yeah, so
shut up, Booster.
Come see STL sexiest little man on stage rocking out a mic.
STL sexiest little man. I like that. That's better than the midgets that are gonna midget that's gonna get the digits right there.
But you got to come down to my level because I can't climb. So if
okay,
you're
there
gonna
you
get
go.
the digits, you got to
there you go.
Come down.
Yeah, make them work for it.
I mean,
man.
I can't
Hell
climb.
Yeah.
I've tried getting my fat ass on the counter to get a plate. It's harder at 27 than it was at 5.
So with you, they can watch you on TV if they're not watching you locally at any of these shows going around the Midwest. Yeah. They can actually watch you at what is it?
MicroWrestlingTV.com. There's a subscription.
MicroWrestlingTV.com. Okay.
And there's also free content on there.
Gotcha.
I don't know when I start. I don't know. I know what I'll be doing because I'm going to be. He wants me to be kind of the. I don't want to say the face, but he wants me to be the performer.
Gotcha.
And do a live rock concert. But cool. I do know that my whole entire world tour to go with these guys, my first tour, it's going to be one of many, I hope, 14th through the 26th of July.
Okay. So. And then you'll let everybody know, Dylan Hiley on Facebook. You'll update it on your Facebook page and let everybody know. Sounds good. Dylan, freaking awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the show. You know what?
When this ain't the last time. When ain't the last.
No, you'll be on again. Trust me, you'll be on again. We'll have you on again. The first time I met Dylan, I said, "Man, we got to get you on the show," because I was so mesmerized by you.
And you came down to my level too.
Right, I came down to your level, and so you're in a wheelchair. I actually had to, you know what I'm saying?
You went deep.
Yeah, it was. Always. But when I came up to you, I was like, "Yeah, man, I really like you," because I had listened to you sing. I think it was Shine Down a cappella, and you posted it online.
It was that one, or it was that one, You're So Cold, Keep You, the Breaking Band. Yeah. Might have been that one.
But I listened to it, and I was like, wow. I'm like, he's not just a novelty act. He does have a good voice.
Thank you.
And so I told you, I said, I want you on the show, and you go, you can say it. You can say you have a midget fetish. And I was like, well, damn it, I do. And I want you on.
I saw it in your eyes. That's why you put the shades on, so nobody else would see it.
Exactly. They don't see my lust.
You couldn't see that twinkle.
Yeah. I know. I saw him going online. And
all right. Well, Dylan, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you guys. for having me.
Misplaced Religion is coming up. Guys, thank you for watching another Underground STL live episode. We do this for you guys. We do this for the fans. Make sure you tell everybody about us. Spread the word. We are bringing you a street level view of the greater St. Louis area, and we go live every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Yeah, one last announcement.
STL, thank you guys for supporting me my whole music career. Continue to support me. Follow me, PSA announcement, and I will not let you down.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Guys, that was Underground STL live. Tune in next week. But for right now, here to play us out is Misplaced Religion. Step up. Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for watching another episode of Underground STL Live. Every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you tell your friends. Tune in. We'll see you there.